We're good. All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, folks. Again, as one Crookshank here, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, former Division One college football player, and current five-time, soon-to-be six-time published author and educator, back for another Stay Hired Sunday. My apologies for anyone that listens to the show regularly, consistently on Sundays. This past Sunday, I went to a baseball game that I could not turn down. I had tried to make it back, and it was like, you know what? Let's not rush it because the game was going really, really well. And it's an experience I will be telling you guys about, not this week, but later on in about a week or so. I got a whole lineup in terms of how we're going to do it. But we're here now. We're here back again today. Kimberly, how you doing?
Doing great, doing great. Glad to be here. I'm Kimberly, founder and owner of Art and HR Solutions. I help businesses make it better.
All right. So today we got quite the topic today because it's something that came. Let me just make sure we get all the stuff up. So it's something that came about a week ago. For those of you who do not know, I do teach at a school named the Center for Creative Education, and I got the news a couple days ago without knowing it. I was kind of blindsided by it myself, that there will be, at least the plan tentatively, is to make me the sport and fitness director at the school, which was a dream, kind of a dream scenario in itself, because I never, just like being a trainer, I never got certified. I never planned on being a certified teacher. You're speaking to someone that had 100% planned on being his own boss. From the day I graduated from college, I wanted to work in the NFL and then sort of be my own boss at this as I approach 40s and 50s, and put myself on a trajectory to be my own boss at some point. But life happened, and the lockout, the NFL happened, and I had to figure stuff out on my own. COVID happened. All sorts of shit has gone down. But, the goal and the rewarding work I do is if I can align, being a sport and fitness guy with some sort of a school setting. And that seems to be the direction that I'm taking in the school. Now that happened, though, the next question that I honestly had when it came to my network of people and the people that I, trust closely with my professional goals, personal goals, all those kinds of things is, how do I take it a step further so I don't make it so somebody else I'm not giving somebody else control of what it is I want to do. And my goal is always to be like, how about I make it a contract position? Can I offer them, maybe if we contract with me with the books, I'll come in and do this and do that, and all sorts of things that I had rolling around in my mind. And I'm super, super blessed to have this lady, Miss Kimberly Blue, who's Miss HR, Miss HR, who can help me kind of not just help me. And I'm bringing a personal story up because I know a lot of people struggle with this decision in itself as we are online, as social media is becoming a thing, LinkedIn's becoming a thing, where you're making quality business connections. And the question and the thing we're going to kind of talk through today is, how do we figure out a way whether to go towards a contract position or a salary-based position, and how is AI sort of being able to be used as a leverage point to put yourself in the dream and the ideal scenario? So I know that was a mouthful, Kimberly, but I'll let y'all kind of bring you in here to talk about a little bit, and then we'll get more condensed as we move along, as we always do.
All right. Well, congratulations, number one. That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
So good for you.
Yes.
And, we all are looking to build our brand, build our business, but we have to pay the bills, right?
Yes.
And contract position is kind of ebb and flow, as you know. We might have many different things. So we have to build revenue streaming things all
Right.
the time where you're always bringing in that revenue. So
Mm-hmm.
thinking from an exempt or a contractor slash consultant position, if you are a 1099, which that's what you would be employee, so they don't pay for your benefits, they don't give you any perks. From an exempt standpoint, you'll get those benefits. You get that stability of
Mm-hmm.
having a paycheck every week, every 2 weeks, whatever that
Right.
looks like. But
Right.
you also get benefits, which at this day and age, you have to have insurance.
Yeah.
Now, because you can go to the doctor one time and spend $10,000. So you have to have good
Mm-hmm.
insurance. Now, can you do that as a contractor? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or consulting? Yes. But you don't have someone paying the bulk of it.
Right.
Okay. You have someone paying for workers' comp if you get hurt. You have
Right.
somebody paying, contribute taxes. You have 401k. There's a lot of perks to be that exempt employee.
Right.
Okay. So that being said, to
Mm-hmm.
grow it, you can use AI to be, for ideas, working in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the prompts that I like to use is act as you are a business owner who has 10 hours a week. And this is just one example.
Mm-hmm.
However, I want to put out 40 hours worth of content to my subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
Please give me a plan that'll promote that at a high level
Mm-hmm.
for revenue streaming ideas. And
Right.
in 3 minutes, you'll have everything you need.
Right.
And so you can definitely keep that streaming going for your business.
Right. It kind of reminds me of a book, Tim Ferriss. He wrote a book called 4 Hour Work Week. And if you haven't read it, I strongly recommend you guys go read it. But he breaks it down in terms of there's no wasted time in throughout his day. He uses the calendar app, uses the scheduler, and makes sure at this time, at this day, I know exactly what it is that needs to be done. And I'm bringing all that up because back at the times that I was referring to when I was just graduating college and this is what I wanted to do and all that, AI was not a thing, guys. AI was not a thing. And really where I wanted to really get your thoughts on is when you get a cut, because I know you work very closely with colleges and the way the college system is set up, like life before AI, was that you have to get this degree, you have to get this certification, and that's going to put you in alignment for whatever salary job that, all of a sudden you made at Yahoo, and then you realize, hey, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Nowadays, what can a young person that's really focused, a really driven young person like myself that was in college, that really was on their P's and Q's, what can they be doing now to prepare for when that graduation cap goes on, when they graduate? Hey, I'm ready with this option. This contract work is already making me this amount. So when I go on a job interview, you're like, hey, look, I'd love to be in this position. Like, I'll even give you an example. Back when you guys already know I'm going sports. You already know I'm going sports. But speaking of baseball, one of my favorite books was The Last Line of Baseball by George. It was the book talking about George Steinbrenner's life. And Brian Cashman, who's also a Maryland, well, he's not from Maryland, but he went to Catholic, if I'm not mistaken. Brian Cashman, he told George Steinbrenner he wanted a 1-year contract. He's like, I wanted to prove I'm good enough to do this job. And then they end up winning multiple championships. I loved that story. I loved the mentality of, hey, he loves the Yankees, and I'm willing to do it for 1 year to prove I'm good enough. And then you see what the results were over there. So again, all this stuff we're talking about was before AI, and you just mentioned a great prompt. But how do you kind of advise them now to take that same mentality, but say, hey, look, you got artificial intelligence now, take advantage, jump on that train, because the people before you didn't have that.
They didn't. But it's not even just AI. So if I was in that space now, like going to college, and you have to define what it is that you want to do.
Right.
What makes you happy and what's going to drive you. Once you determine that, all your goals should be centered around that. Take an internship, because see, credible work history, even if it's an internship, goes a long way to your job, because there's a lot of people coming out of college who want to be a whatever position that you want to be. There's a lot of people. It's strong, but if you have something behind it, take a volunteer research project, take a internship, do all of these things. Yeah, sometimes you're going to do it for free, but what you're gaining is much more valuable.
Right. And not only are you gaining something that's valuable, you're able to figure out if it's really for you. All right. One of my, I mean, this was back in, guys, listen, okay. This was back in the days when there was something called CD-ROMs. All right. There was something called a CD, DVD. This was back in the day when I can't even.
They're like, what's that?
Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying that's back in the day. It was even that damn long ago. But yes,
how about flip disk?
CDs, you put them in here. They don't even make laptops anymore that have CDs. I get it. Y'all don't know what that is. Ask your parents. At floppy disks, VHSRs, all that stuff existed. But his goal in college was to actually make beats and become an AR and break into the music industry. So what he did was he would have, beats made and CDs made. Shout out to Taj if you're listening. But he would go to parties on campus and then ask to sample their music. And then what happened was like, hey, look, when you get a whiff of that life and you realize how the grind and what you got to do, by the time now he's become a dad of two, actually. And it's like, is this a lifestyle that I can really bank on and raise a family and be like, is it really something I can do? But if he doesn't take that initiative in college, he doesn't know by the time now dad life starts approaching, and there's bills, and so you got to figure out. And this is one of the things that I think is so important for young people. I'm talking middle school, high school, even elementary school now, for you guys to really get a hold of. You've got to get focused on whatever it is you want to. You can't be on ChatGPT just looking up bullshit. You got to be actually looking up stuff that is going to be beneficial to you, because we, as the old folks, the older crew, we don't know how to use it. We would love, if you got the money, hey, I'm gonna hire somebody to do all my prompts, because that person knows my mission, they know my vision, they know how to use it. You're getting the job before somebody else who doesn't know how to use it. But if you don't take advantage of it, then hey, you'll just be, oh, that person's young, that person doesn't know this. So it's important that you figure out, like Kimberly said, what it is you want to do, what are the steps to get there, and then take those free jobs, take that internship work, take that work where it's just a weekend. They call you 2 hours before the thing happens, and you got to cancel this, cancel that, and you got to go to figure out exactly what it is you need to do. That is incredibly, incredibly important.
Yes.
I think, and I'll kind of go to the next topic on this one. When it comes to the salaried work in a salaried position, and I'd love for you to speak on this as well, the folks who are aspiring for that salaried position, that's aspiring for tenure and all that, we know that big dude, we know that dude that's in office now, he ain't going for it no more. If you look at every element of his office and everything that he's doing, he's running it as if he's not going to be here in 4 years, and he simply wants to leave an efficient process that's going to make it so the folks who are just sitting around collecting a check and collecting 401ks and tenures, all that. If there's anything that Mr. Donald Trump, I think, is going to do, he's going to remove dead weight. If there's anything, like him, hate him, love him, whatever it is, he's going to remove dead weight from just people who are sitting on their ass, not working. Period. So, I mean, I love you to speak on that a little bit.
You have to be forward thinking. If you're, it doesn't matter what age you are in like college, you have to think, what is it that's going to make me different?
Mm-hmm.
How am I going to stand out, and how I deliver whatever it is that you want differently and do it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you why it's so important to be so focused.
Mm-hmm.
This weekend, my sister and I went to a beauty supply store. It's a brand new store that opened up, and I walked in, and there is a young man, like probably in his mid-20s. And he was like, "Can I help you?" And I was like, that's, a young man.
He
right?
working at a beauty supply store?
How I found out he owned the shop.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Okay.
He owned the shop, and I would ask him, he goes, "Well, what are you looking for?" And I told him he'd run over and get it. I was like, wow, number one, the service was amazing. Number two, he knew where the product was. He wasn't pushy. He was natural himself and friendly. Okay. Then I asked him, "Oh, this is, a new shop." He goes, "Yeah, it's my shop." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And he goes, I said, "What made you decide to open a beauty store?"
Uh-huh.
"I love women."
Wow.
That's what he told me. "I love women, and I want women to feel beautiful."
Wow.
Okay. I'm like, that is literally the best answer that I've ever heard. When someone says, "Why do you want something?" And that's how clear you need to be about what you want to do and why you want to do it. Because I instantly related to that. So you have to make yourself relatable also to your customer.
Yes, and we got to break that story down a little more, because what I heard you say is that he was in his mid-20s, right? And from what I know, that's a very difficult age. That's an age where there's a lot of transitioning. That's an age where you're in transition. You just don't know what you don't know. You're out there, you're trying this, you're trying that. You just don't know what you don't know. And for him to just simply say, "I love women," and all of a sudden now a beauty supply store gets open, there was things that happened to him in his past, whether it was somebody that taught him something that happened, somebody bled into him, whether it most likely was a woman that bled into him to say, "Hey, do what you love doing." what happens on
Yeah.
these college campuses. You get science majors, engineering majors, math majors. You could go become a psychiatrist. You can go do this. You can go all sorts of options that sound like a secure plan. The concept of school sounds secure, but by the time you start looking at all these options, next thing you know, you don't know which one to pick because they've
And
distracted you in so many ways. And
stop
that's
going towards the money. It's
exactly.
not, you stop basing what you want to do on the
Mhm.
salary. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, we want to be independent. We want to
Mhm.
be able to do things we want to do. But if you base your life on
Mhm.
that money, because it is more than just that what they offer you in the offer letter.
Yes.
Well, after, when you say contract and salary,
Hmm.
it's a lot different. Yes, you get those perks, but
Hmm.
that annual salary, what else is there? Don't look at your annual salary as, oh, I make $120,000 a year. Okay, but what else do you get? Do you get, 5% in your 401k matching? Do you get,
Yes.
what kind of benefits do you get? What's your copay? What's your annual
Mhm.
deductible? You
Right.
have to look at it as a package. So be smart about that.
Hmm.
Because if you make 125, but you
Hmm.
have to pay $800 a month in insurance, and
Exactly.
then, that is and they don't match your 401k or they match it at 1%, then
Right.
really, what are you getting?
Right. And we'll get to the questions in a second, but I want to kind of close off with this tip or kind of this hack that my mother used to tell me to do all the time. Is younger, back when I was growing up, she would tell me to go just get job applications and practice writing. Like, go to the library because she's a huge fan of the library. But go to the library and son, just start practicing how to write on job applications. Just start practicing how to, fill out your name, fill out your address, fill out your number, know your social security number by heart, all those things. Now, again, there was something called paper, pencil. You have to actually write. But folks, I will give you the same advice now. Go on ChatGPT, ask them, hey, what would be an ideal contract for, so and so's dream? Read through it, ask yourself, get them to quiz you every day. I do it all the time. In my leisure time, I'll ask ChatGPT just hey, check out what, because it knows so much about me at this point. What would be a movie that reminds you the most of me? What would be some content that you think I should put out there? And they give me like 50 or 60 different options, and I could just pick from one, and it's all based on the experiences that I'm actually having. Like when I went to the baseball game, excuse me, when I went to the baseball game last week, I began talking to the person who worked with the Mariners. I'm like, I used to work for the Dolphins. Now I'm doing this. Now we get our contact information. He wants to reach out also, but you have to shake these folks' hands because we're
Yeah.
talking sports now where the whole thing is contract work. I don't give a shit what salary you say you have. All of it's contract work if people don't win. Right. So
Right.
the contracts the money sounds great, but there's a lot of stuff going on in those contracts that
Yes.
if you don't win, then there's money, and people sign it understanding that the realities of the position is you got to win games or that money ain't coming in, or in some way,
Right.
shape, form, or fashion they're gonna get out of it. So
Read the fine print.
yeah, you
Always.
got to read the fine print, and that's why I love sports so much. That's why I bring it up so much, because it gives you a real dose of reality in terms of how high you can be and how low you can be. So, all
Yep.
that being said, let's get to the. So the prompt this week, the prompt this week was, now come up with 5 questions that a business owner would ask about offering salary versus contract work and how to use AI as leverage. That was the prompt today, and this is our first time reading the questions. Let's get to them live and indirect, as we always do around here. You guys would expect nothing less. All right, let's put this up. And number 1, when does it make more financial sense to hire a full-time salaried employee versus bringing on a contractor? I will start with this one. A contractor is someone that has a specific skill set. All right, a specific skill set, someone that is very specific in terms of, let's say, you have a situation where you need plumbing in your office, or there's a business, or the toilet's not working, or something that's going to require a skill set. That's a contractor work. For example, I drive the buses at the school. There was a time where the AC wouldn't work. We hired one guy, Kimberly, one dude came in and fixed the whole AC unit on the bus. And I looked at him like, see, you got a good business because you out there getting paper. You're the one dude, you're the only one got to do it. You good. So that would be my response. That I get very specific in terms of the contractor.
So An HR response would be a
Yes, ma'am. Of
contractor.
course.
You cannot dictate a contractors how much they work or when they work.
Hmm.
Okay, that's part of being a contractor. Is that you can give hours of operation of when you would like them to work. But
Hmm.
as a contractor, if you hire me as a contractor, unless it's in our contract, I can choose when I want to work,
Yes.
how often I work. But
Yes.
when you hire a salaried employee, you get to dictate because they're your employee. You get to dictate their schedule. You get to dictate the hours that they work or what kind of work they produce.
Right.
They get to follow a job description, whereas a contractor, it might be more broad. Like if I came on for an HR transformation project, that's a very broad area. There's many layers in that. But
Hmm.
then I would say, I'm going to work on it on these days. Now, me, I work on things all the time. So it wouldn't be just me, but there's some contractors, and
Hmm.
that's the definition according to the guidelines
Hmm.
that is the difference between an employee and a contractor is that you cannot tell them when and how much they work.
That sums it up, man. I have no follow up. That's a drop the mic moment right there. That's why she's Kimberly Blue, folks. That is why she is Kimberly Blue. All right. How can AI streamline or even replace certain contractor tasks so I don't need to hire for everything? Oof, I'll let you take that one away. That one, I mean, certain tasks. It seems, and again, I guess I can ask it more in the way I would read that is certain tasks like writing. Like as a writer, I would ask ChatGPT to proofread certain things, so I don't have to hire the people that I used to hire to proofread all my stuff to get fresh eyes. So for me, I streamline it by just putting certain things in ChatGPT that I've created already myself. But the HR response is something I think that's a little more
Yeah.
detailed.
So you think reporting, for example, I actually created a reporting tool that's much like Tableau,
Hmm.
and it's all ran by AI intelligence.
So,
And so that is something that you could do. So think operationally, why would I hire somebody just to set up my reporting tool, my analytics, whether it's for hiring, whether it's for sales? You can just put your all your information in there, and it's going to generate reports constantly. And so that's something that you could use instead of hiring a person because it's just data analytics. That's what it is, and you just keep plugging the numbers, and it gives you whatever report you want.
right. And so we talked about actually, so the clips from 2 weeks ago, Kimberly, I put the clips out, and
Uh-huh.
the one that went the most viral was when we talked about Microsoft and it was Microsoft and not ESPN. Forgot the name of it. It was Microsoft and another big company that was laying off a lot of people, and I had mentioned coding.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hmm.
But the answer to that again, if you're listening, is the work you do. You have to be so unique in your service to the point where you have to be there. It has to be you being able to do it. Like myself as a boxing trainer, the reason I'm opening that back up for business is because I know AI is not going to be able to replace me as a boxing trainer. You have to actually physically go there, jab, cross, and learn the combos. You can't actually AI is not going to be able to replace my ability as a speaker and what it is I bring to the table as a speaker. So you also, in that same sentence, you also have to ask yourself, what is it that AI can't replace about me? So I'm able to now show up and lean into those things because we know it's no longer coming, folks. It was here 2 or 3 weeks ago, and now people have moved on to say this is part of the process. It's either you're in it or you're
Yep.
not. Period. Point blank. End of sentence.
The biggest thing that I've seen, and I thought the same thing. You see, if you go on to any social media, you'll
Mm-hmm.
see be an AI specialist. Here, take this class to learn AI, right?
Yep.
And so I was thinking, like, why am I going to join the masses? I'm just going to create a program that
Yes.
can do what they want, and they could buy that program from me. Boom, that's it. They don't need to learn it. They just need to buy my program. You
Exactly.
know,
Exactly.
so I mean, it's you just how you do. You have to think differently.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right. Number three, I kind of already answered this one, but I'll read it off in case you want to say anything on it. What task should I never contract out? And how can AI help me protect and retain in-house talent in those key areas?
Never contract out. Um, I would always be open actually to contract something out because that will create stagnant behaviors. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't have people and leaders
Good
that
point.
are working and they're always seeking to improve and to learn and to get better,
Mm,
you'll get into this space where it's, oh, that's how it's always done, right? So you'll
that's a good.
actually go backwards. So
Yeah.
never say never,
Yeah.
because you can learn diversity of thought, you can learn new things.
Mm-hmm.
How you retain talent, by treating them well, by giving them opportunities to learn. People want to learn, people want to grow, pathing out what it looks like to grow within your company.
Mm-hmm.
So having that framework, do the mapping. If you join us in this position, these are the different areas that you could grow. This
Mm-hmm.
is how we're going to help you get there,
Right.
because people want to continuously learn and feel like they're bringing value to an organization.
Yeah, that's a great point. I never actually thought about that. Never contract out certain things because the mentality of a lot of these people, it leads to just complacency, and that's the last thing you want is complacency, folks.
Right.
So, number 4, how can I use AI to better manage and integrate contractors into workflow without losing control or consistency? This actually goes back to what you said about contractors are controlling their own time. So when it comes to, like, for an example, the school I teach at, our previous janitor, he had his own business where he would have like his girls come in after school to clean the place up and stuff like that, but he would be there during the day in case certain things went wrong, like if there was a spill, he'd be the first one to clean it up, stuff like that. And as I think about the relationship that he had with the school, it can be something that's great because, like, he would, his name, so shout out to Hugo if you listen, man. Good. Hope you're doing well, bro, because me and him used to talk a lot. He was one of the people I could relate to at the school. But he had his own business, but he was contracted with the school, and he would tell me that the school was like the biggest contract he had, to where all his other side jobs, it was like it didn't matter as much because he could be here at a consistent place and be able to run his business through this. So I think now with AI, there's a way of reaching out to contractors to more so treat them as business partners. If you're offering salary position, or if you have a business that offers salary position and you want something contracted, think long term. Think, hey, if you're struggling getting in front of this person, like for me, like this is why I tell people all the time, my goal is to become like a broadcaster or play-by-play announcer for major college, like a major sports network, because they see what I bring to the table. I contract with them, and it knocks down so many dominoes because I get in front of more business owners. I could talk football, talk sports, and then I probably won't need a whole lot of contracts as we go. So if you use AI, you're going to be able to connect with the right contractor as you move along, but you got to use it the right way. You got to know those goals. So a lot of what Kimberly has already said, we kind of addressed that, but I'll let you speak on that a little bit.
So I was sitting there thinking as you were talking. So
Mhm.
for me, a contractor, when you say contractor,
Mhm.
you're already separating them from your
Yeah.
business,
Yeah.
right? Because contractor is not an employee. But change that word from contractor to consultant.
Woo. Come on now.
Okay. Because you say consultant, then they are a part of your team enough
Yeah.
that they have bring value and they care. A
Hmm.
consultant cares about your business and if it succeeds. And
Yeah.
so even if it's a short-term consult,
Right.
that's what you're dealing with. A contractor you're going to get at an agency where you
Hmm.
have the same people cycling through all the time.
Right.
A consultant is someone that is going to give you the time, attention that your business
Right.
needs.
Right. And that's such a great distinction because they both are looking for stability, whether you're the consultant or or the business owner that is responsible for certain salaries. You're looking for stability. You don't want to deal with problems with retention. You don't want people coming in and out the business because that hurts your reputation, that hurts what you're about. And then ultimately both of y'all going to lose money. So I think nowadays with AI, it's so great to make it so you know what you want pre like meeting the person, and then you're able to move forward and ask the right questions going in. So final question for the day, it's, will offering contract work limit my ability to build a long-term team, and how can AI help me identify who's worth investing in full time? I sort of already started answering this, but I'll let you close this out if you have anything to add.
So we've talked many times about having behavioral based interviewing.
Hmm.
And so you should utilize that for your consultant that you're going to talk to.
Hmm.
And you utilize the same questions. If you want somebody that aligns with your business, get those behavioral questions that you could get from AI. You tell
Hmm.
them about your business, tell them the type of person that you're looking for,
Right.
and it'll provide you some behavioral based questions. And you're
Right.
going to use, and it's not going to hurt because you can bring a consultant in mix it up once a year or once every 6 months
Hmm.
and say, hey, analyze this. This is what I'm looking for
Right.
to make sure you don't get in that stagnant place we spoke about.
Absolutely, and that really is. I mean, listen, and it's AI today. It's going to be something different in 2030. It's going to be something different in 2040, 2050, and so on, so on. It boils down to, hey, are you opening yourself up to learn new things? And if you hear something that's going to be beneficial to the things that you want in your bottom line, to your profits, do you know them well enough? Do you know the intentions? Are you really that dialed into what it is you're trying to do, to where I don't care what the open new thing is, you can address. I mean, even if Google can go to AI mode, damn it, you need to adjust on something, whatever's new.
Right.
So that's all. That's all we got today. I'm so glad we got a chance to talk about this.
Right.
Again, apologies for last week, but again, we are going to be here as consistent as we possibly can. And again, remember, if you're not subscribed to the channel, we're doing this a day in and day out. The summer's here, so got a lot more free time now. It's about to go down, folks. We got the summer and then we got football season. So I'm gonna be on like 100 for the next 6 months. As I mean, I know you guys don't really see a difference, but trust me, my level of intensity goes up a little bit when that ball kicks off and it's time to go. It's time to go play ball, baby. I still have the mentality of a football player, so we're gonna keep rolling. If you want to add anything, just go. Feel free to, or I'll let you
If
close us out today.
you need help with props, I am actually building. I have a few hundred pumps now. So if you'd like to consult with me to get you started, you can reach me at ardenhrsolutions.com. Wonderful as always, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Next Sunday, guys. Later.